You spend more time with our clients than anyone else on the team. You see them at meals, during activities, and in the quiet hours of the night shift. That makes you our most important set of eyes and ears. You don't need a clinical degree, and you aren't expected to act as a therapist. Your job is to serve as the first line of defense. In this training, we'll cover the 4 steps you need to follow to keep clients safe: recognizing the warning signs, asking about suicide directly, triggering the response protocol, and documenting the event. Your daily presence is a practical prevention tool. By paying attention, you provide the layer of security that keeps a client safe. We'll start with recognizing the signs. Some behavioral shifts are easy to spot. If a client is suddenly pacing, highly anxious, or pulling away and withdrawing to their room, you need to pay immediate attention. At Emend, we use the IS Path WARM acronym as our standard checklist to track these specific, observable risk factors. But there is one specific pattern that is often misread, and it happens right out in the open. We call it the sudden calm. This chart illustrates the risk. If a client has been severely depressed for weeks and then appears suddenly peaceful, cleans their room, or gives away a prized possession, that is not an improvement. As you can see here, the drop in visible depression spikes sharply into the danger zone. The reason for this shift is specific. The client feels a sense of relief because they have made a definitive plan to end their life. Interpreting client behavior means looking past what seems obvious on the surface. That newfound peace is an acute, urgent emergency. Once you spot a warning sign, you have to ask about suicide directly. Research consistently shows that asking the question does not plant the idea in a client's head. The words we use matter. We always say suicide attempt, and we avoid stigmatizing labels like attention-seeking. Respectful language keeps the lines of communication open. To guide these conversations, we use the Columbia Protocol, also known as the CSSRS. This is the mandatory screening tool used for every client here. This diagram shows the 5 escalating levels of the screen. It moves step by step from a passive wish to die, up through active thoughts, considering a method, forming an intent, and finally developing a specific plan with intent. There is one absolute rule when using this tool. You must ask all of the CSSRS questions in order. You never skip ahead, and you never stop early. If a client initially denies having passive thoughts, you still ask the remaining questions. Skipping logic is dangerous because a client might deny a vague wish to die, but later reveal a detailed lethal plan. Asking these specific questions in a structured, direct way removes the stigma of the conversation. It gives the client permission to tell you the truth. If a client does endorse suicidal thoughts, your immediate priority is physical presence. You stay with them and you never leave them alone. Keep your voice low and calm. If safe to do so, secure any dangerous objects nearby and notify the clinical team and your supervisor immediately. During this process, a client might ask you to keep their thoughts a secret. You must compassionately refuse. Tell them you care about them and that safety comes first. If clinical backup is unavailable or if the situation turns into an active medical emergency, you escalate. Call 988 for crisis support or 911 for immediate physical danger. In the middle of a crisis, your physical presence and rapid communication ensure the client remains connected to the support they need. Once the immediate crisis is handled and the client is secure, you move to documentation. This prevents gaps in care and fulfills our legal obligations. Your incident report must be completely objective, include exact quotes from the client, specific behaviors you observed, and the context of what was happening before the event. Any suicide attempt is a reportable unusual incident. Leadership is required to submit a written LIC 624 form to Community Care Licensing within 7 days of the event. Supporting clients through their darkest moments takes an emotional toll. Feeling stressed, hypervigilant, or even grieving are normal human reactions. We know we cannot prevent every tragedy. Please rely on your peer support and utilize our employee assistance program so you can sustainably continue this work. To recap the sequence, observe the hidden warning signs, ask the CSSRS questions directly, stay with the client while notifying clinical staff, and document the facts. Executing this protocol fulfills our operational promise to protect the safety, dignity, and life of every person in our care. Everyday attention, simple compassion, and your consistent physical presence with our clients are the true foundations of effective suicide prevention.